Hey there, this is Jono from OpenLearnSec, and welcome to episode 1 of Naked CTF. Well, what is Naked CTF? It's a little bit of an experiment. Basically, I'm working towards my OSCP, and part of that process is that I like to do as many hands-on labs as I can, and those labs are usually the form of a capture the flag, so where you're attempting to compromise a host in a controlled environment, and learning about all the tools and techniques and everything else along the way. So this is the box that we're going to be working on today. It's called Squashed from HackTheBox. And basically, I'm going to attempt to do this with no prior knowledge. All I've done is kind of test my connectivity so far. We're going to use adventure mode to try and find the flags, the user flag and the root flag. If I get stuck, I'm going to switch over to guided mode, which will give me some hints on where to look next. And then if I get really stuck, we can always look at the write-up. But I want to try and avoid that at all costs, because the purpose here is to, figure it out as we go. So this is a bit of an interesting experiment. It could take half an hour, could take 3 hours. Probably going to be a lot of Googling involved, trying to figure things out along the way. And so if you enjoy this, let me know. It's more about the methodology and the thinking and the process for figuring out how to actually capture the flag and make the compromise, rather than walking you through this particular box. There's lots of content out there that shows you a walkthrough for how to, do some of these boxes from HackTheBox and Try Hack Me, etc. They'll show you in great detail from beginning to end. But like I said, this is more about the learning journey than the actual compromise itself. So let's get started. I'm just going to copy the IP here, and then we'll switch over to our terminal. The first thing that we want to do is some enumeration. So first step, nmap minus sc minus sv, all the defaults for scripts and service versioning, etc. We'll put in the IP address, and then I'm going to nmap. I'm going to output the nmap to just a text file. I'm going to use T4 timing. That seems to work well with HackTheBox, and -v. So starting that up, we can see straight away nmap has found 4 ports. So we'll see what they come back with. 22 is SSH, and the version control, the versioning and fingerprinting suggests that this is an Ubuntu box. On port 80, we have a web server, Apache, no surprise there, also suggesting Ubuntu. Interestingly, it does support head, get, and post and options, so that might be an interesting thing to look at later. We've got the Apache version 2441, which is good, and the HTML header that gets returned, which is built better. So we'll take a look at this website in a minute. RPC bind, looks like the script failed for some reason, but we can always dig into that and try and figure it out. And then on 2049, we've got NFS. So definitely something interesting to look at there. Potentially an open NFS share or export that we can dig around in and have a look. But first, let's take a look at the website. So we'll head on over to the browser, and let's have a look at what we've got. So furniture store looks to be some sort of basic template that they've used for this. Looking at the links themselves, services, about, shop, they're going to go nowhere. You can see in the title here, you've got the hash, which means just an anchor to the same page. And if I click some of this, yeah, it just takes us back to the top. Not a whole lot going on. Contact us. We've got a form here. And what does this do? It does nothing. It just submits to itself. So a quick look at the source. Maybe look for forms. Only one form there. It doesn't even have an action like post or get. So that form is going to do absolutely nothing. And let's have a look at JavaScript. And looks like most of it is it's aesthetic and UI related JavaScript, doing some of the stuff like image carousels and that sort of thing. So probably not a whole lot to look at here. No server-side processing going on. No login. I don't think there's a whole lot that could be attempted to be abused here. Seems like a very static website that doesn't actually do anything. So let's park that for now, and then we'll go back and have a look at that NFS share, because that's going to be interesting. Just trying to remember some of these commands. I think it's show mount. So show mount all, and then the IP. So there's no mount points. Let's have a look at what's being exported from this host. Okay, so we got two exports, the home directory for ROS and var www.html, which is probably the root of this particular website. So we can have a dig around in that and let's see what we can find. I think what I'll do is mount both of these just so we can mount them on our local file system, just so we've got them there and we can have a play. So what I want to do is create a directory that we can work in. So mkdir HackTheBox 514 squashed. Okay. Or just so we've got somewhere to keep all our info together. We'll actually move that nmap file into here. Okay, we'll find that in a minute. And let's create two directories for mounting these two different exports. And let's see if I can remember off the top of my head how to do this. So it's going to be mount. Type is going to be NFS. Then we want the IP and the mount name. Then we're going to specify our destination mount point, which is going to be the directory we just created. And I think with NFS, we want to do this no lock option. Maybe we need to sudo that. Okay, let's have a look in mount one. All right, cool. That looks like Ross's home directory. Let's do the same for the second mount. So sudo mount tnfs IP var www.html mount 2 -o no lock. And if we look in mount 2, oops, a lot of permission denied. Okay. Let's have a look around the ROS home directory first. So looking at this immediately, we don't have any kind of SSH key or anything like that. If we have a look in the desktop, nothing in there. Let's just actually try and find a command to do this in the shell a bit quicker. Find command cheat sheet. Find is always a command that I struggle with. We want to find readable files. Nope. Find command readable. Let's see, not human readable. Find files based on their permissions. Okay. We don't want to specify a particular mask. It's more like I want to find all the files that are readable by me. Let's just try find readable. Hey, there we go. Look at that. So things like cache and .config and .local, these directories are permission denied. I think that's because I'm connecting anonymously, whereas the UUID of Ross is probably 1001. And for things like .cache, which I can't access, yeah, it's only read write by the user. So that means as an anonymous user, I'm not going to be able to read things like the .cache directory. But going through the rest of this, interestingly, we have this passwords.kdbx. So I'm going to grab a copy of this and move it into my working directory. Downloads. Oh, documents. Documents. Passwords.kdbx. Move it into 5.4. All right. Let's have a look through the other mount point, which is the var www var www HTML, and it doesn't look like there's much available there. So I'm going to do find mnt readable mnt2. Sorry. Yeah, basically everything is unreadable because as anonymous user, I don't match the file permissions that are needed to look at that. Okay, but we do have this KDBX, which is super interesting. Now, I happen to know what KDBX is. It's a extension used by the KeyPass database, KeyPass password manager, which is an open source utility. I've actually used it in the past in a previous job that I was in, so definitely familiar with that. Do I have KeyPass? No, but we do have KeyPass to John, which is encouraging. That means there's a native tool for extracting the password hash from here and feeding it into John the Ripper. But I do want to get the actual KeyPass application installed. So what we might do is, let's just see if there's a package first. Install KeyPass. Nope. Let's see. KeyPass. Galley. KeyPass X. Okay. KeyPass 2. Yeah, it is open source, so there's different implementations of it. I think KeyPass X is probably the one that we want. KeyPass, free open source password manager to manage your passwords in a secure way. You can put all your passwords in one database, which is locked with one master key or key disk. You can also use things like YubiKeys and all sorts of stuff. It's really cool. Databases are encrypted using algorithms AES or Twofish. KeyPass XC has slowed down. Install KeyPass XC instead. Okay. And KeyPass X. KeyPass XC. sudo install xc. Hey, look at that. Gotta love package managers. Makes it super simple. So let's fire this up, and then we'll open the password KDBX to try and have a look. And we may need to end up cracking or attempting to crack the master password. KeyPass XC open. And this is the tool, the GUI for it. So open existing database. And we're going to go HackTheBox 514 squashed. And then passwords.kdbx. Okay, so now it's prompting us for the master password. Let's try password. Nope. Okay. Password 1. Yeah, so obviously we could be here all day trying common combinations. I think the better thing to do is try and crack this. So let's do a little bit of Googling about that. KDBX password crack Kelly. Sure, someone has done this before, cracking a KeyPass database. A tutorial on using John the Ripper and Hashcat. We need to start with a sample database. Yep, we've got that one. We need a dictionary for attacking the hash file. I think we'll just try RockU. Yep, suggests RockU there. We've already got that extracted. Right. So I'm running Kali in a VM, and I don't think I have direct GPU access. So it will be interesting to see how long this actually takes. We don't have any of the CUDA toolkits and stuff installed. We've got John the Ripper installed as it's part of Kali. Hashcat we've got installed. Get cracking. Okay. John run keypass to John crack this.kdb to crack this.txt. So I believe this utility or this tool is going to extract the master password hash from the KDBX file. So it knows like what the offset is and where to rip it from. So let's just try that out. Key pass to John, and then we want passwords.kdbx. File version 40,000 is not currently supported. Okay. Let's see if there's another tool that we can use to extract a hash. 40,000. Nope. Okay. Back to good old Google. Let's see. Copy. Oops. Okay. Reddit. How to hack. Okay. This is how much of a noob we are. We're depending on a Reddit called How to Hack. Looks like this guy forgot his password. Hopefully he didn't have any Bitcoin in there. Right. Pastor John says file version 40,000 not supported. Okay. Let's see what else we can find. KeyPass module may be wrong. Okay, here's a GitHub issue. So this guy is trying to figure out a similar sort of issue. KeyPass to John comments say that only up to KeyPass 2.36 are supported. Newer versions use Argon 2 or Cha-Cha 20. I would recommend you find out which version of KeyPass you use and which cipher is used for your KDBX. KeyPass to John hash cat output. Okay. Is anyone aware of a parser to extract the hash from KDBX version 4? It will not work because it's not supported by Hashcat so far. I mean, this was back in 22. Okay. Keep going. Rip a GitHub issue. Let's have a look at that. Cha-Cha 20 support is done. Has this issue been fixed? Of the KeyPass v4 file using KeyPass Java 2 code and documentation, I would like to propose this as a Python for John, but that will also impact Hashcat when implemented. Once we agree on coding, I also discovered that this library did parsing for v4, but I'm unsure if we can use it. Okay, let's take a look at this. Maybe this guy works. Library allows you to write entries to a KeyPass database. Search for hash. Nope. Okay. Okay, a little bit stuck here. What I might do is go back to the NFS share and just see if there's any other clues along the way that could help us in terms of finding the master password to unlock this. X sessions, X authority, dot local, H, yeah, it's denied. Cache is going to be denied. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything super helpful in there. Public documents, passwords, KDBX, right? Vim info. Okay, just links to dev null, so that's not going to be any help. Bash history is also going to be null. That's not a regular file. Yeah. There's nothing in desktops, downloads, or templates. Okay, so there's no obvious hints about what the master password could be based on the data in this mount or the second mount, which is basically completely unreadable. So let's have a think about how we should proceed. Let's go back, John. Password crack ABXB4. KeyPass4 brute. This tool is a quick and dirty patch for the current situation. It tries to brute force the password, testing a provided word list against the DB file. Huh. Okay. So rather than trying to crack the hash itself, or extract the hash for then passing it into like John the Ripper or Hashcat. Okay, let's see if it supports v4. Okay, KDBX4X format is not supported by KeyPass to John, so there's no way to extract the hash and crack it. So this guy needs KeyPassXC CLI. Let's check if we've got that. KeyPassXC CLI. Yep, cool. So I think this guy's just going to attempt to actually iterate through a word list and do it one by one and actually use the regular, program logic and APIs to unlock it. Test each password one by one. The nice thing here is it's a local database file. It's not a web server. It's not a remote service. So I would assume that there's no rate limiting or anything like that. So let's grab this script. Nice and easy. We'll just grab the raw rather than pulling down the whole repository. Raw. And copy that. So wget, we'll get out of this directory first. Wget. All right. Let's have a quick look at KeyPass4 brute. Make sure it's not going to steal our passwords. Yeah. So KDBX file, the word list, builds a command while read KeyPass CLI open. Yeah, so it's just attempting every word in the word list using the CLI to actually unlock the database. So, okay, fingers crossed that this works. chmod plus x KeyPass. Okay, so KeyPass4 brute. Our KDB file is password.kdbx, and our word list is going to be user share word lists rocku.txt. Oh man, that is slow. Literally one at a time. So let's keep that rolling. I don't know if this is going to be successful unless like the password is in the top, 1,000 entries of RockU. We could be here for a very, very long time. While that's going, let's do some further enumeration on the web server. So 514. And I'm just going to reload my shell because I've got my history turned off. For anyone who might be interested, I set my history to 0 most of the time when I'm working because rather than relying on the shell history, I want to build muscle memory about some of these commands. And yeah, it takes a little bit of discomfort and inconvenience to do that. So let's do GoBuster minus U is going to be the website URL. I mean, we do already have access to the underlying file system via NFS, but let's just do this anyway. Just in case we miss something. So we'll put the URL in there, and then our list. I do need to download the sec lists. At the moment, I'm still using the Kali defaults. So common.txt minus U. Oh, GoBuster, duh. Yeah, so we've only tried like 390 passwords there, which is not really cool. Okay. So nothing really exceptional in the GoBuster DIR-busting enumeration. The directories that we expected, index.html, 403 and these guys, they may not even exist. So let's try some vhost or DNS enumeration. But we don't have a domain, so there's no point to do that. All right, I think it's time to refresh our enumeration. I'm just going to run the nmap again, but I'm going to run it across all ports rather than just the top ports. So we've got our IP, we've got nmap2.txt. We're going to do all ports, T4, verbose. So let's let that run. And you can see already it's found these other ports, 39243, 37267, which we didn't find in the initial scan. That's because if you don't specify a port or port range, I think it defaults, nmap defaults to the top 1000. So it's always definitely worth enumerating the entire 65,535 ports, whatever it is. I have a feeling that a lot of these are going to be nmap2.txt. Yeah, so here you can see on 111 there's RPC bind for things like NFS, mount the NFS ACL, and for example, mount the 59191. So RPC bind is kind of a little bit like DNS. It provides a lookup for the client to figure out where to connect to. So the client contacts the RPC bind service. It says I'm looking for mount D, which is this program number 100005. And then RPC bind says it's on TCP 59191. And so when we scan the bigger port range, we can see 59191 there. So that's the reason we detected the extra open ports, is because the RPC bind service is actually pointing us towards them, or it's highlighting that they're there. So it's good. That makes sense. And let's see what else. I mean, we've got NFS kind of figured out in the sense that we know we can mount the exports that are there. This guy's still going, 1067. Let's do a little Googling to make sure that we're not missing anything on the RPC or NFS side. So pen test, NFS. Let's have a look what else there might be. May have missed. Absolutely love the Hacktricks website. So useful. So we know we've got NFS. There's some enumeration scripts, Metasploit modules, show mount. To know which folder has the server available for you to mount. We've already done that. We've already done this. We didn't have to use authentication or authorization. If you mount a folder which contains files or folders only accessible by some user by UID, you can create locally a user with that user ID and start. Oh, okay. So yeah, that makes sense. So basically, what we're saying is that when we look at the NFS export that we've got mounted, right? Here is the user ID and group ID, 1001, 1001. And where we have world read write, which is things like documents, yeah, as a world user, we can read this file and directory. But these ones right now we cannot because our user ID does not match. So according to this, if we just switch our local user ID to that 1001, it will, the NFS server will then match the user ID and let us read and write. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Let's keep going. We'll come back to the user ID thing. All right. To easily list, mount, and change UID and GID to have access to files, you can use NFS shell. Okay, that. Oh boy, this thing is 10 years old. Yeah, probably won't go down that path. I'm sure it works and it's good code and everything else, but let's see if there's an easier way. Okay. Change UID. Assign a new user ID to the user using the user mod command. I don't actually want to change my local Kali user because then it will break. I don't want to change the UID because then it will break the rename a user by UID. Yeah, but I don't want to actually do that because then it will break like all my local permissions and stuff on my Kali host. Let's see what our current ID is. Oops. Yeah, see, I'm 1000. I wonder if there's a way to do it using like a system call. So I know if you're root, you can designate like a binary or a process to be set UID. Okay, let's have a look. Temp UID. Shell script is another user that has no password. Set UID on shell scripts. This might be what we're looking for. Linux ignores the set UID bit on all interpreted executables. Okay, that makes sense. So is there like a generic binary that we can use? I mean, does SU allow you to set UID? Yeah, we're not getting a lot of love on our password brute forcing here. Okay, let's think. So if we look at what's not readable, hash, config, local, and then hash config local, new PG, X sessions, X authority. X authority could be interesting. X authority. Abusing X11 for fun and passwords. That sounds good. Okay. Part 2. Where's part 1? Wow, 2004. Is X authority file. Really feeling like a noob here. Used to store credentials in cookies used by XAuth for authentication of X sessions. Cookies used to authenticate connections to that specific display, etc., etc. So if you're not the owner of the file, you can't log in since you can't store your credential here, etc. Okay. So I think we'll come back to this. Oh, here we go. Hacktricks. X authority. Used by X11 for... Oh, wait. Nope, I don't want to search. Nope, page. I do love Hacktricks, but for some reason, it just runs like crap. in my browser. I don't know if that's everyone else, but some reason it's deep linking to this search box. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, I love Hacktricks. I don't know why it runs so badly in my browser. I've been meaning to kind of dig into it and see if it's like JavaScript going crazy or something. Or oh, cool. Okay, Xspy to sniff the keyboard keystrokes. Oh, screenshot capturing, remote desktop view, live viewing, get shell. Oh, okay. And that's all with access to X Authority. So I think part of the progress here is really dependent on getting read access to some of these files that we don't have the right user read permissions for. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and see what Metasploit can do for us in this respect. Not super familiar with Metasploit. Still find it hard to find my way around sometimes. A little bit tricky. But let's have a go. This is what it's all about, learning on the fly. Okay, so there's a module in Metasploit NFS mount scanner. How do we use it? We set the remote host, and then we run exploit, I guess. Maybe that will handle the user ID bit for us. Show mount. Let's see if there's anything on here about user ID. No, there's got to be an easy way to do this. FS export set local UID. How to map user IDs. User ID, group ID mismatches. No. All right, let's just have a try of what Metasploit can do. So we're going to open MSFT console. Not Microsoft console. Let's full screen that. And the module that we want is OxScanner NFS. Yeah, I'm still trying to kind of muddle my way through Metasploit. I do love the random ASCII art that you get every time it starts up. Recon, exploit, payload loop. So use auxiliary scanner NFS mount. So options set our hosts is going to be buffer. Yep. Our port is, let's just check. Our port is 2049. It's not the standard port. So let's have a look. Set our port 2049. And then, I don't know, run. What? How do we see the result? Show host. Nope. Okay, so we run. And yeah, I mean, it's just enumerating what's we already know. So um, all right, let's go back. Okay, so I think what we'll do is just create a user locally. So let's check. 1001. Yeah, so we don't have a user with 1001. So Linux add user specific UID. Okay. So user add. Right. Let's just man user add. Search for UID. Okay. Okay, so we can just pass -u and the user ID that we want. Easy. User add -u 1001. Let's call this HackTheBox test. We need to run this as sudo, obviously. Then we can su sudo password box test. Okay, then we can su to this guy. No home directory, that's fine. So we're going to go home, gonna hack the box 514, washed. Oh, okay. All right. Find readable. All right, now we can see everything. Okay. So, where do we start? I think the first thing is you can see that 1001 is now gone. It's replaced with our username. That's because the UID and GID is matching. So let's do a little bit of pillaging. Let's copy this .x authority. Let's leave it for now. Let's have a look at .config. Okay. Aha. There's a key pass directory in here. Cat key pass. Maybe they've got the password saved in here. I very much doubt it. That would be a little bit too easy. Last directory, last key file, last open database, last view. Okay. Nothing really obvious in there. What else? Oh, SSH directory, right? Yep. Too easy. Is in dot local. Yeah. Okay, I think this is a bunch of stuff related to local applications. Here's notes. Notes. Directory or file. Oops. Cat. Notes. Huh. Interesting. CVDF SDFS%. I wonder, is it possible that this is the KeyPass database password? Only one way to find out. Let's put it in here. Nope. Dang it. Key file. I wonder if there is anything in here that points to a key file. It was in config. Down one more. Okay. And let's have a look at KeyPass key file. Last key file is this byte string. Okay. Let's turn this into ASCII and see if it's anything interesting. Feeling lazy, so byte to no. The making myself look like a tool here. Uneven amount of base. Invalid UTF. Okay. Yeah, it's got like all sorts of weird slashes and escapes and everything else there. Okay, look, I think it might be time to start looking at some hints. So we're going to go into guided mode and see where this takes us. On which port is NFS running? It was 2049. And yes. Which flag of show mount is used to show an NFS server's export list? That's -E, which we found out along the way. What UID does the owner of the var www HTML directory have? Yeah, so we haven't really explored that share, have we? So let's jump out of here. We've tested 5,000 passwords with no result. Let's go back and have a look at this mount 2. So yeah, 2017. I think we need to do the same trick and then have a poke around in mount 2. Maybe there's something in there. So we want to user add 2017 HTTP test 2 sudo password HTTP test 2 set that. Then we're going to su to HTTP test 2. Okay, let's open up shell. And where are we? Okay, so now we should be able to get mount 2. Oh, there is a htaccess file. Interesting. So let's just get a bit of a tree going. Readable. And JavaScript, blah. CSS, blah. Images, blah, index. So all my hopes are pinned on htaccess. Cat.htaccess. Dang it. Add type, application. Doesn't seem to be anything interesting there, like a username or password. So this is just like a Apache directive. HTTP php.htm.html. Huh. So I'm wondering if that would let us run a .htm or .html file, and then Apache would interpret it as PHP. Let's give it a try. So we're in the root here. Let's do vim index2.html echo php info php underscore info. So anyway, let's try. So now we've got index2. Let's try that. Index2.html. Nothing. No, see, it's not interpreted. Okay. So I'm wondering if that's a bit of a dry hole. Trying to figure out if we can execute PHP. So if we could do that, we could potentially get a local file inclusion going or a web shell going that would do what? I mean, we've already got the Ross guy's home directory. Yeah, I still feel like this KDBX is where we should be focusing our efforts. And I feel that rather than trying to brute force the password, which is not going well after like 20 minutes, that we need some way to find a hint for what that password is. Maybe the KDBX password itself is lying around somewhere in all these directories. Let's go back, have a look. What was it? 2017? No. It's the ID I have. Yeah, 2017. Okay. Which common command that is built into the Linux world would you use to modify the user ID of a user? I think it's user mod. Yep, okay. Which file in the Linux file system contains information about users, their identities, and information such as their home directory and default shell? the etc password, I guess. Which two-letter bash command can we assume another user's privilege? That would be su. So not quite sure where it's taken us here. Full path of the NFS configuration file. So how would we get that? Because we only have the home ROS and var www html directories. So I'm just going to try this again. Okay. Now two. Yeah, what happened to my index 2? Okay, let's try index.php. Echo, does this work? Let's put the full PHP tag in there. And index.php. Aha, interesting. Yes, it does work. So if we change that to echo PHP info, okay. Maybe there's no underscore. Man, I can't remember. Okay. Wow. Okay. So we have some form of remote command execution via PHP. So what do we want to do? Do we want to rev shell? Yeah, why not? Revshells.com. And what's my IP? And 10.10.14.2.6. 10.10.14.2.6. 9001 is fine. Let's look up PHP. System. Yeah, I see this is command line rather than interpreted. Whoops. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think this is the one that we want. This will actually all right, this looks fairly chunky, but let's give it a go. Hmm. Okay, so then I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to vim my index.php. Delete that. Insert all of that. Should have the IP 10.10.14.26. Yep. So can't make backup file. Okay. Cat index.php. Yep. And then we need to open netcat nc nvlp 9001. See if it works. And there we go. Reverse shell. Has 2017, which is Alex. Okay, so the www user is Alex2017. And now I need to do that shell magic to make it work a little bit better. So let me go to my notes. And I'm just going to Google it instead. Rev shell upgrade. Okay. To fully interactive TTYs. I see people type this stuff out from memory and I'm like, I can't remember all of that right now, but hopefully the more I do it, the bigger the chance that it's going to stick. Yeah, so it's Python. Let's see, import pty spawn. Oops. Ah, dang it. Need to connect. Okay. So this is copied correctly. Copy and paste. Okay. Python 3 minus c import pty dot spawn in bash. Okay, looks a little bit better. And then I think that's good enough for now. Clear? Nope. Okay. So what do we do? We are in home Alex. And I believe that is the user flag at user.txt. Look away now if you don't want to see the key flag. Let's just submit that while we're here. Okay. Submit. And red shell. Okay. So what do we want to do next? Let's do find here a readable. LXD. ID. No. LXC group membership. Okay. Um, the users there. Cat etc word h. Alex and Ross are the only two real ones, I think, for interactive users. So, what do we do next? We can look at that NFS config. So FS server config default. Default directory is var NFS. ls var NFS. Nope. ls etc NFS. All right, let's do Ubuntu NFS configuration path. etcnfs.conf. Okay. Yeah, etcnfs.conf. Okay. etc exports. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. etc exports. Okay. So let's go back to guarded mode. etc exports. Which NFS setting can be used on a share to diminish any given user's privileges to the NFS nobody user? So exports config. All squash. All maps all user and group IDs to the anonymous user. Aha. All squash. Okay, so we got that flag there. Which file is commonly found in the home directory stores cookies used to authenticate the X sessions? Well, we had a look at that before, and it is X authority. .x authority. Which X server display is currently used by Ross? So, Linux, list, X displays. All displays on Linux. X brand R. First thing is, let's see what we can actually do. We don't have Alex's password. Dang it. Let's see if I can do this from memory. All right, so we need to get our reverse shell back. Not quite sure what happened there. Let's have a look. Seems like there's some cron job or something that's refreshing the data in here. So need to move quickly. Index.php cover. Still looks good. Save that. Cat index.php. We've got our listener running, and let's run this. Okay. And Python 3 minus C import. Let's see if I can do it from memory. Pty spawn.pty in bash. Yeah, nope. Upgrading shell. And where was it? Spawn. Import pty.spawn. Import Python. Import pty.spawn in that. Hey, that's better. Okay, so we had a look at the exports. We've got the unprivileged user, that's Alex. We've got their flag, which is in the home directory, user.txt. We can see here that the other user, Ross, is logged on and is running a GNOME session. So I think they're logged in via X11. So what does that mean? If we go back to Hacktricks, we've got the X authority for Ross. So this is the cookie file type thing. In order to use the cookie, you should set the environment variable export X authority path to .x authority. So let's copy the X authority cookie from our local NFS mount over to our remote shell, and then hopefully we can use that to do something like I think we'll try a screenshot just to see how that works. We don't have remote access to X11, so we do have to run it in our reverse shell because otherwise we just won't be able to connect to the X11 service. So coming back to here, we want to find our cookie, and that is going to be in mount 2, sorry, mount 1. And cat.x authority. We need to switch to the other user HTTP test. So our user ID matches up. And then we can go into MNT1. We can cat.x authority. And it's got these weird Unicode or UTF bytes, which I don't think it will copy and paste particularly well. So we probably want to base 64 encode this. So cat dot x authority, type that into base 64. How do we do this? Can't remember the command. Base 64 code file. Use the base 64 command. Use base 64 minus D. So let's have a quick look here. This is kind of 101 stuff, but I have forgotten the command here. So base 64, just the file name. Okay, dot x authority. We've got that. So we grab the whole thing. We could set up a local web server and then just fetch it that way. But let's see. Copy. And can we... Oops. Let's just do echo into dot x cross x. Now we want to do base 64 minus D. Okay. Ah, killed it again. This is why the shell upgrade is not 100%. And yeah, our reverse shell is gone again. Okay, let's try this one more time. SU HTTP test 2. Let's go into mount 2. 2? No, mount 1. Ready? Mount 1. No, mount 2. Vim index.php. Recover. And we will grab our reverse shell. That was where did it go? Close the tab, ProShells.com. And we wanted the PHP pentest monkey, PHP pentest monkey. Yep, that's it. Copy that. Okay, click that. Listener is running. Launch the PHP script. Okay. Let's see. So we want to do Python 3 minus C import pty pty.spawn in, and then huzzah. Okay, let's go home. We should have the .xauth or rosx, the cat.rosx, Now we want to base 64 decode that. Cat dot loss x. Okay. Now we need to pipe it out. So it's base 64 minus d dot Ross x into dot x authority cat dot x authority. Looks good to me. Okay, going back to hack tricks. We need to export x authority. Export x authority equals home Alex dot x authority. Okay. And then verify connection. Xwin info. Do we have that? Xwin info. Yep, we do. Root tree display. And then the display number. Xwin info root tree display 0. Yeah, okay. So that gives us all the nested view of the windows that are running in this session. So GNOME itself, and then look at that. bpass is running inside of this X Windows session. So my immediate thinking is let's try and grab a screenshot as suggested by Hactrix. So XWD root screen silent display, etc. Screenshot.xwd, and then we would need to download that and convert it from this XWD format into PNG. Do we have convert on here? Nope, not installed. So we definitely need to download the XWD. So let's check. We've got XWD. Yep, it's there. XWD root screen silent display is going to be 0 because we saw that in the output of the who command. Screenshot.xwd. Okay, screenshot.xwd is there. It's 1.9 megabytes, megabyte. So let's download this to our local machine so we can run python 3 -m http.server. Okay. Then on here, our local host, going to wget http. What is the IP address again? 10.10.11.191. 10.10.11.191. Port 8000 and screenshot.xwd. Then we need to do that convert. Is it convert screenshot xwd to screenshot.png? Convert screenshot.xwd screenshot.png. And then, with any luck, this will work. So, HackTheBox. Squashed. Screenshot.png. Moment of truth. Ah, look at that. So this is the KeyPass application. And there's one entry here for the root user. Password is, yeah, okay, so let's type that out. See, CAH$. Let's just try. My shell is going to die if I do this. Dang it. Yeah. We need to launch the shell again. Sudo, su hdb test2. Then we need to go into mount 1, mount 2, sorry. Then we need to vim index.php. We want to recover. One. Still there in the swap file. Listener is running this. And let's just try suing to root using that password we got through the screenshot. CAH $, CAH $, MEI7 RAI9A. And it's taking a long time. Come on. What is going on here? Oh, it's gone again. Index.php. Recover. Number 1. Let's insert a copy of the reverse shell. And try this again. Okay, I think we need to do the TTY trick. So Python 3 -c import pty.spawn bin bash. Yep. Then we try our su. That's going to be CAH $. Let's just try CAH $, MEI7 RAI9A. Hey, there we go. Root. Oh man, that feels good. So where are we? /root. And there is the root flag. Awesome. Submit that. Hell yeah. All right. Okay, that was pretty tricky. Definitely got distracted by the trying to crack the KDBX file itself. when it was actually just running there within the X session. Hack tricks, came in clutch as always. Once you have that X authority file, you can impersonate that user. The NFS misconfiguration, allowing us to write to the web root, get the reverse shell, all that sort of stuff was awesome. SSH never came into play. I don't know if Ross has a SSH key. No, he doesn't. If root has an SSH key, doesn't look like it. So yeah, look, I think the lesson there for me is got a little bit lost, and then was so focused on trying to, brute force this thing because it's the database archive that it kind of sent me in the wrong direction. But thankfully, once the reverse shell was visible or available, it kind of snowballed from there. So quite happy with how that went. All right, guys. Well, this has been the first episode of Naked CTF. Like I said, a complete experiment. Not sure if it's something that people are interested in. If you found this useful, just in terms of like the whole enumeration, process, like finding out and just continually Googling to figure out the next step. Let me know, like, comment, or a subscription would be really helpful. Just give me some feedback. I do plan to record a few more Naked CTF episodes and then actually move it to a live stream format if there's enough interest. So yeah, let's see how it goes and look forward to your feedback. And thanks for sticking around for the better part of an hour and a half. So all the best. This is Jono from OpenLearnSec, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.